Welcome to Obscured Reality with Mark and Stephanie. From UFO sightings to the lost city of Atlantis, from alien encounters to the living dead, each episode will leave you questioning reality. If you're ready to explore the eerie, tune in to Obscured Reality, where mysteries come alive.
Welcome back to Obscured Reality. Guess what? Mark and Stevie are back with you again. And I forgot to turn my headphones on. But hey, we're here.
Are we though?
No, we're here physically.
Not mentally.
The thing with the headphones, they're Bluetooth. Obviously, it's plugged in. Obviously for this, but when I plug in just the 3.5 millimeter, just the sound cable, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I plug that in, I can hear through the microphone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It is a different sound, but I usually don't turn it on right away. I for some reason I haven't gotten into the habit of that, which is surprising. But you plug this in, and I can automatically hear everything through here. It doesn't sound exactly like it sounds right now, which is 10 times better, but you can hear it, so you get used to it real quick. And then, I'm waiting around, and then you come on, and we get set up, and then we start, and I start talking, and it's like just dull and just, I don't know. I need to get in the habit. But you know what? Fuck me. Doesn't matter. We got a story in the news. Just came out today.
Ooh.
I'm going to thank America again. More importantly, the government of America. And we're going UAP, guys. UFOs again. This story just came out today. But I think there's an important background to this and why things happen with conspiracy theories. I mean, this is going to show you exactly how theories get started. It will be a short one. But since I'm reading it from the article, I will just share my screen with you guys. And let's pull this up. This is from Fox News. It's on every it's on every news outlet. I was just looking at this and it popped up. Unknown drone fleet breached U.S. military base airspace in Virginia for 17 straight days. Mysterious drones swarmed Langley Air Force Base for over 2 weeks last year. Okay. Now, let's just go through the story. If we need to pause and talk about something, we will. But let's get through the story. It's not that long. Then I want to get your opinion after it, because it reads like two different ways, but details matter. Let's just say that. Let's go. A mysterious fleet of drones entered restricted airspace and swarmed a U.S. military base along the Virginia coast for 17 days last year, stumping the Pentagon. Okay. For several nights last December, U.S. military personnel reported witnessing a fleet of unknown unmanned aircraft breach restricted airspace over a stretch of land at Langley Air Force Base along Virginia's shore, first reported by Wall Street Journal. The drones would start to arrive about 45 minutes to an hour after sunset each night. One official reportedly told U.S. Air Force General Mark Kelly, who joined several other officers responsible, blah, blah, blah. Kelly described the first drone he saw as roughly 20 feet long and flying at more than 100 miles an hour at an altitude of roughly 3,000 to 4,000 feet. As many as a dozen or more drones followed, flying across Chesapeake Bay and then traveling toward Norfolk, Virginia, and through a space overlooking the base for the Navy's SEAL Team 6 and Naval Station Norfolk, the world's largest naval ports. The report said officials could not determine if hobbyists or adversaries, such as China or Russia, were responsible for the drone fleet. Reports of the matter reached President Biden, and resulted in 2 weeks of meetings at the White House in December 2023. Those meetings included the Defense Department, the FBI, and the Pentagon's UFO office, as well as some outside experts. They reached out for comment. Of course, they probably didn't get one.
Yeah.
2 months before the drone fleet emerged in Virginia, 5 mysterious drones reportedly breached restricted airspace over a government nuclear weapons experiment site in Nevada. I want to know more about that. I'm guessing that's in the Nevada test site, just north of Las Vegas, the whole like country-sized piece of
Yeah.
land the government owns in Nevada,
Yeah.
where Area 51's residing, right? I'm wondering if that is in their nuclear weapons experiment site. It has to be in there because I mean they used to test nuclear bombs in there. They'd blow
Right.
that shit up out there. 4 of the drones were detected by the Energy Department's Nevada National Security Site outside Las Vegas, while the 5th was spotted by employees, according to the journal. The facility has reportedly since upgraded its detection system, but officials have not determined who was behind the breach. And for the most part, that's it. If you go look at maybe a couple other um, news outlets that did this as well, you might see a little bit different info. I mean, all the same stuff, but maybe
Right.
missing something here and adding something else there.
Right.
So that's the story. Um, what do you think? I'm
Um.
definitely going to give my opinion, but I don't want to put anything in your head and any ideas in there. I want to hear them originally from you.
I
She's
just
quiet
feel like
again, speechless.
I am kind of baffled by the fact that there's not more to it. But at the same time,
Exactly.
like, what the fuck? Like, I want to say. I want to say a hobbyist, but what hobbyist has a fucking 20-foot drone that flies 3,000, 4,000 feet in the air? Like, because like
Yeah.
when you said drone at first, I was like, okay, so I was thinking the little me drones that like do the cute little things
Yeah.
in the sky, and a bunch of hobbyists were like, "Hey, fuck the me," and just wanted to be little fucking punks. But I don't know now.
Yeah. Well, one of my biggest issues with this is, as usual, as you get in stories like this from news outlets, there's detail that's there that they just don't talk about. So
Yeah.
unless this is truly all they were told, but where's the detail? We need more detail. An unknown drone fleet. So are you saying these are actual, are you saying these are actual man-made drones, like airplane
Right?
style or quadcopter style,
Right.
or are you just using drone instead of UAP or UFO now?
Yeah,
You
because
know,
like I've seen drones, like I've seen airplane style drones following Cessnas while I was like
yeah.
that are owned by the Air Force out in California. But
Oh, you know what? What you might have seen are sailplanes. So a sailplane is a super thin fuselage, super thin, long fuselage, holds one person. There's no power on the thing. Like it has a battery for some avionics, but that's it.
mm,
Um, and those get towed up by Cessnas, by small planes like that. That's probably what you saw. So they'll
interesting.
take them up and then they'll unhook it and boom, they'll go off. So sailplanes are meant to fly on the updrafts. Like let's say you're at you go out to the ocean
I've
and
seen
you're
them
like
do
on a
passes though, like following planes, like multiple
yeah. I
passes
mean
over an area. I don't know. Maybe the
yeah,
person was learning how to
could be.
fly, like how to fly one up. I don't know. But I've seen it multiple times out there where they've made multiple passes being followed by a drone. Maybe
Hmm,
not a Cessna, but a smaller plane like
yeah,
that. But like that's the only other type of drone that I know of other
I'd be
than
willing to bet you it was a sailplane,
that's wild. I've never even heard of those.
especially out there because there's
Mm,
the 2 ways they fly is
yeah.
wind. So like updrafts from like a hill or a cliff, right?
Mm,
They just fly along the ridge because the wind's hitting the side of the hill, the ridge, whatever, and going up. So they are flying on that updraft. So they just follow the ridge, turn around, come back. The other way sailplanes fly is with thermals. So the heat emanating up from the ground
that would be
up
it.
into the air. So you will hit patches
Yeah.
that you're just cruising, and keep in mind you have no power, so no propeller, no jets, nothing, right? It's
Mhm.
just that's all you're doing, and you hit a thermal and it's just
Yeah, no, that makes sense because like
so
the thermals make sense because it was fucking hot out
yeah.
there. But I mean, we didn't have any hills, so the thermals have to be it because the
Yeah,
sun reflecting off
well,
of
it
that
would be,
sand
yeah,
was hellish.
yeah.
Ugh.
So that's my thing because
Okay.
they say unknown drone fleet. It's like okay, let's just to be fair to everybody,
Mm.
describe the drones like yeah, these were quadcopter style drones, or this was a drone essentially looks like a small airplane,
Mhm.
right? But they don't. And now we get to 3 to 4,000 feet. So a mile is approximately 5,500 feet, 5,500
Yeah.
approximately. It's right around there. Um, Drones like DJI drones, you just go buy it, Best Buy or online.
Mhm.
Um, I have one. I have the top model that they have right now, and the range on it is ridiculous. Like you can essentially go as far as you want. You're limited by the battery, right? So you can go as far as you can go on that one battery, right? And I think when you get them, it's it says in there these particular ones probably like a 4 to 6 mile range,
Mm.
maybe farther.
Mhm.
But the thing is you have to turn around and start coming back at no later than like a certain point, right?
Mhm.
Because of your
Yeah.
battery. You need
Yeah.
battery to get back. But I've watched plenty of videos, people doing tests with them and seeing what they can do for distance. And one of the dudes is in Hawaii, and him and a few others, they easily get 4 miles, maybe five. Kind of depends,
Mm.
on the weather. So is it one of those? Does it look like one of those, but maybe a homemade one? Does it look like a small airplane, type drone? And there's no detail. And it wouldn't hurt to tell us the detail. They're telling you they saw them. Um, Now, what I was reading on another news outlet about this, what they had also said in there was that they did a very brief explanation of why we didn't do anything about it. The reason we didn't just go shoot them down is because they can't unless they do or they firmly feel, it's posing a threat, which they said in the other article that, yeah, they didn't feel like there was anything threatening, anything hostile about it. So legally, they can't just go shoot them down. However, I'm sure with word from the president, they could just start nailing them. But, you know,
Yeah.
20 feet long is interesting. Obviously, that makes me think drone as in
Plane.
small looking airplane,
Mhm.
typical military drones you see. Obviously, it's not that, but not military. But they don't know. So this is what probably was the Nevada test site, where Area 51 is. There's a lot of other shit there, and they just let them go over. They didn't do anything because once you get in the Nevada test site, I'm sure they can easily give more authority to go shoot shit down,
Oh yeah.
and
It
they
was
still
probably their
don't.
stuff. It was definitely their stuff. If it was just casually cruising it over it, like
Yeah, I don't think it was because it happened out in Langley as well, and they're obviously coming out saying we don't know what the fuck this was. Like there's no video of it, so there'd be no reason for them to come out and tell anyone.
facts.
You know, so 17 days this has happened every single day for 17 days.
It's wild.
Um, so I want more explanation. What do you
Why was
mean when
this
you say
allowed to
drone?
continue for over 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Why?
how is that not threatening?
Well, I mean, you got to show some intent somewhere, but you know, two separate bases. So that's interesting. We're
Yeah.
talking Nevada and then we're talking Virginia, opposite sides of the country, right?
Mm-hmm.
These things are 20 feet long each. Do we think this person, how long exactly prior to this big event was the one in Nevada? what was the time frame difference between
Mhm.
those two events, right?
Right.
I'd like to know that. Um, because, imagine if it was like the one in Nevada happened today, the one in Virginia happened in 2 days from now. You would
Right.
know that in 2 days wouldn't be most likely wouldn't be enough time to get all that shit. A bunch. They said a swarm, a
Mhm.
bunch of these 20-foot long whatever they are, and break them down, pack them up in a way that you can get them on an airplane or however you're going to do it, and then get to
Right.
Virginia and fuck with them. So it tells me obviously these are two completely separate events, which means more than one player here. So if
Yeah.
these are drones like what we're talking about, looks like a small airplane, just no person on it, um, and there's a swarm of them, that's another problem. Details. What do you guys mean by swarm? 5,
How? Yeah. Yeah. How much
20,
is this one?
100?
Yeah.
I want to know. So you're talking about two different players involved in this, someone out here and someone out there. Assuming, it's man made and man flown, right?
Mhm.
Um, in it, I think about that and go, okay, two different events. Most likely, these are two separate people doing it, but they're probably working together. Put some questions up in my head. Um, you've heard in the last, especially like probably the last 5 years, it's been a big problem. Everyone's been complaining about it, how China is sending people out here. They've been out here. They're starting, they're buying up land.
Yep.
I believe farmland, I heard.
Yes.
And they might, I want to say I heard in one of the cases they had erected some type of structure, building, whatever. And people that live in the area they were concerned. Obviously, they're like, if they're sitting there spying, like, what are you guys going to do? Cops aren't going to go on the private property unless they have something. I really hope we're fucking monitoring them, but they're like
No.
the first ones that come to mind. But would they really let them buy any type of land anywhere near the Nevada test site? I don't know. So now we got to wonder about the range of these things and where 20 feet each, a swarm of them, where do you launch that without being noticed?
Right.
That Where can you launch that? Because it sounds like these are the plane style drones, not the quadcopters,
Right.
20 feet long. So where do you launch those from without any attention? And then you got to remember now
A
now
field
you
in the
have to
middle of
worry.
nowhere? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but you're talking 20 of these things, a swarm of these
Yeah.
things.
No, I
They're
know what you're.
20 feet long,
I know. I know.
right?
I'm just
Yeah.
trying to
So you
think.
got to assume there's a
Oh.
wing that goes with that. That's a large fraction of the length of the fuselage.
Hmm.
They got to pack all that shit up and get it somewhere. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So you would think they're probably launching these from much farther away. And then you got to remember these things, they estimated they were probably at about 100 miles an hour. Um, you need a good sized battery to power something that not only is going that fast, but for that long. Because I would assume these events, whether they lasted quite a while or not, these things have to have a pretty decent flight before they even get to Langley or to Nevada, right?
Hmm.
The test site. And they also have to return home. There's no way they're launching them like a mile away because they know once they fly over, especially like the Nevada one, they know they're going to be watched, right?
Hmm.
So you wouldn't take these things off from like a mile away if that's where you're returning them to, because they'll be watching you, and they'll probably be watching you for as long as they can see you after you exit that airspace.
Hmm.
And a mile away they're still gonna see you.
Yeah.
you know so I want to know what's a swarm. There's so many details missing, but this goes back to conspiracy theories. How do we get conspiracy theories? From shit like this.
Mhm.
They're super vague, and
Oh, yeah.
there's plenty here that they don't need to hide. There's zero reason to hide it.
Mhm.
So 20 feet long. But what do you mean by 20 feet long? Do you mean a disc-shaped object 20 feet long? Do you mean like Tic Tac? Do you mean, oh, it had wings as well? Right?
Right.
We need
Yeah.
to know all this shit. But now, if you go look at drones on, go on YouTube, look at drones and stuff. I've seen videos back in the day. People built some really bitchin' home built ones,
Mm.
and they made their own, put all the components in. These things were massive. Like, I'm 6'5".
Mhm.
These things they had to be as long as me, if not even a little longer, and they'd have 8 or 10 motors and propellers. Now these things just hauled ass.
Yeah.
They could go whoop real pretty quick for their size, and they could slow down pretty good. But they just hauled ass.
Mm.
So my point is, you might be able to have something like that could do 100 miles an hour as well. So what's the description? You're leaving the stuff vague, and you know exactly what people are going to start thinking and jumping to. They're just going to relate this to something, no different than like the Tic Tac or the gimbal video. That stuff that came out quite a few years ago now, because it's so vague.
Mhm.
And they know the whole UFO thing's an issue, and they claim they're sick of disinformation, all that bullshit. But that's exactly what they're doing right here, is
Creating.
essentially putting you in a position to think otherworldly
Yeah.
versus man-made.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to give all that detail, fine. At least come out and say, yes, these look like they're man-made. There's clear, like, you could clearly see design and how they're put together. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It looks like a fucking airplane. It is man-made, right? They could even just say that, and then the other questions would just go out the window. So, that's my biggest problem with this is, as usual, just missing details everywhere.
Oh, so many. It's like one of those like ad lib fill in the blanks.
Yeah, I think that's the government.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. I was I didn't I was thinking about not doing this one, but it's just so vague. I think it's a very good example of how these things are going to start, because they leave out detail that they don't need to leave out.
Yeah.
But also keep in mind, it was seen over I'm sorry, it said nuclear weapons experiment site, doesn't mean nuclear base. But
Still in close retrospect to the base, though. Wouldn't it be?
no, what I'm saying is it's not a nuclear facility like holding nukes.
Got you.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah.
Not that we know of, but I really didn't like the story that much. I mean, it's interesting, but not for the show. But this is how you're going to get the conspiracy theories.
Nah. It's like a how to build a conspiracy theory 101 right there.
Yeah, and I want to know why they don't go do something about them. Try and shoot them down 100 miles an hour. We have some helicopters that can do that. If a Black Hawk can go over 100 miles an hour, then why don't we launch one and try to catch up to these things? You can have a couple dudes. You could have a couple dudes in the back. The Black Hawk. Oh no, not Black Hawk. I'm sorry. Just throw up one of your fucking jets. The big, huge ones with the ramps, or an Osprey would be perfect because it has a ramp on the back. And Osprey easily go faster than these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fly
I know
the
what
thing
you're
up,
saying.
Tilt the helicopter mode up a little bit, so you're slowing down, and get on these things, lower that ramp, get in front of them,
that fucker up,
and have your dudes throw out a big ass net to bring the thing down, and then you guys go collect it since you can't shoot it.
Yeah. No, I mean,
especially over the Nevada test site. Well, that's all your land. You don't have to worry about hurting anyone. And if you do hurt them, you're going to lie about it anyway. So this isn't news.
No, not at all.
So yeah, so much detail is missing. I'm guessing what they're getting at is they're man-made. I think they should have just said that if that is the case.
Agreed.
Obviously, I would think obviously that it is probably the case, right? But there's too many people that are just gonna jump to other things, especially when they mention nuclear in there as nuclear testing site, right? But especially when they mention that in there, because it's one of the big things that's come out with the whole UAP thing, is they finally admitted, yep, they've been seen over our nuke sites where we house nuclear missiles and whatnot. So putting this out that tons of people are just going to jump to that type of shit, So I'll keep an eye on it, and see if anything comes up with that as far as actual detail. We'll do an update maybe if there is something.
I'm not the one who yawned this time.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Never happens with me. Not. Well, actually, it has, but I've been able to hide it. I couldn't hide that one. You do them. But like, share, subscribe, comment. If you have an obscure story of your own, send us an email to obscuredr1@gmail.com. Type story in the subject line.
Story. Sorry.
Yeah. Tell, hey, get an aneurysm once in a while. Tell us your story. We'll share it for you on here. We'll do it anonymously if you want. If you want to be on the show, you can do that as well. Just let us know in the email. And it's super simple for you to do. And you can do anonymous as well. No video if you want. Doesn't matter. It's fine. Super easy for you to do. All the work's on us. So send us an email. With that said, I think that's it for tonight. I'm going to go catch me a UFO. Peace out.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check back with us often for new episodes. Feel free to drop a comment, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Obscured Reality.